Okay, hopefully you can see me now and hear me now. Okay, we are back, hopefully. Hi everyone, there was some technical issues. Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me there? Right there. Because I'm running on YouTube and Instagram at the same time, so maybe they don't like it. Okay, let's roll. And then in the meantime, if you need, if you have any questions, just shoot me here or on YouTube. I'm gonna just share the link for the YouTube. But if you go to my channel, you'll see it right there. Okay, let's roll before we go offline again. So, hey everyone, we're gonna do a plant-based seminar. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna talk about calories, minerals, vitamins, and what you need to do if you're an athlete and if you're training. So how to eat, how to change from an omnivore diet to a plant-based version, which is totally possible. You can do it, but you need to be a little bit cautious. So you need to know what type of food you need to change. So if you understand the role of different kind of food, then you're gonna understand how to adapt to your diet. Okay, let's start. So we're gonna talk about calories like we did last time. It's very simple. The body is in normal condition. It's very easily adapting to calories. So as much as you depending how much calorie you need a day, if you eat that calories, you're going to keep your maintenance level. What does it mean? If you are like an 80 kilo guy like me, if you eat 2,500 calories every day, you're always going to be 80 kilos. If you want to go below that, you have to eat a little less or burn more calories, or the combination of two. If you want to be heavier or gain more muscle or gain more weight, then you just have to eat more calories or move less and eat the same calories, or the combinations too, usually as the best way to do it. But obviously not every calories handle is the same. So 100 calories of candy bar is not the same as 100 calories of broccoli, let's say, because obviously one has more nutrition, the other one is just empty calories, what we call, is in for your body in terms of gaining weight and losing weight is the same, but obviously long term as a health perspective it's not the same, because obviously you need more thing than just calories. You need minerals and vitamins, so your body's going to function the way as you want to be functioned, which is really important if you're training, right? You need to be able to recover from workouts, and it's not just about how much you eat on the long term for weight gain or weight loss, it is, but for health reason and recovery reason, there are much more what you need to pay attention. And that's where we're going to start with the bigger chunks is protein, fat, and carbs. You're going to start with protein because that's the most misunderstood in a plant-based diet. What is protein and how you get the protein? Look, if you are training for gaining muscle mass and strength training, you should eat around 2 grams after every kilograms. So 2 grams of protein, after every kilograms of your body weight. So if I'm like 80 kilos, if I'm gonna eat 180 grams of protein a day, I'm gonna gain muscle. If my training is right, of course. But you need 2 grams of protein after every kilograms. You're gonna be plenty. You can probably get off 0.5 or 0.7 grams just to be on the same side. 2 grams is perfectly enough. So as long as you eat double amount of protein after every kilograms you have as a body weight, you'll be fine. Because usually it's you have to eat for lean mass, not like body weight. So if you have 30% body fat, then you don't need that much protein, because your lean body mass, so without the fat, just your lean muscle mass and the bones, it's not going to be that much. So if I'm 80 kilos, but I have 30% body fat on me, I only need like 120 grams of protein, because the rest is fat. So my fat doesn't need the protein. My muscle needs the protein. So you need to consider that as well. So 2 grams, it's plenty for everyone. But obviously, if you're very much overweight, then it doesn't matter. You're gonna be well off with 1 gram. Or if you're new to weight training as well, but it can be tricky. But just aim for 2 grams. It's always gonna be fine. It doesn't really matter where it comes from. There is not much difference between bioavailability between animal and plant-based protein, so you're gonna be just fine. Okay, but how to find your protein sources as a plant-based? Obviously, there are great sources like beans and lentils are the best. Tofu, obviously, that's even that's the highest one. It's usually higher than meat protein. So you can have a lot of sources where you can find high quality protein in a plant-based diet. The difference if you are on plant-based, then everything what you eat, if it's not processed like a tofu, but if you eat the beans like edamame beans or black beans or whatever, it's because it's coming from nature, it's always going to contain a little bit of everything. So it's not just going to be pure protein, it's going to be protein, carbs, and a little bit of fat. So if you are switching to a plant-based diet, you need to be, and before you were eating, your plate looked like protein, carbs, and veggies. Now your plate is going to be a little bit of everything, because if you choose, let's say, beans, it's veggies in the same time as carb, as protein. So don't change your plate just taking away your protein source and then replace it with beans, because that's what happens, that it is going to be lower in protein, the same amount, but it's going to be higher in calories. So what you need to do is so if you were eating, let's say, a chicken breast, rice, and veggies, you need to take off rice and chicken breast and then replace the same amount of from the plate with beans, which is going to be carbs and protein at the same time, and it's going to be matched with the previous plate. So you need to consider, when you're eating whole foods, then it's whole, so it's going to be protein, carbs, and fat. So that's why it's good if you can track your calories. So it's going to be easier to understand how much calorie has this new source of food, what you have in your diet now. So protein is going to be the same, but you need to understand that you might have to eat more to get the same amount of protein. But if you are in fitness world, you're probably taking protein powder as well anyway, so you just have to switch to a vegan version, and you're gonna be fine. And that's about protein. If you have a question, you can shoot me here or on YouTube so far. If no, I'm gonna move to fat sources, which is usually, if you're on omnivore diet, we get the fat sources from eggs, I guess, fatty meat, fish oil, stuff like this. What you need to switch if you are going plant-based is nuts, seeds, and maybe avocado. There are some fruits high in fats like avocado, so you can switch to those. But obviously, the best way to go is nuts and seeds. That's gonna be your go-to fat sources. You're gonna find omega-3 and omega-6 in a plant-based culture as well, by eating nuts and seeds. If you want to go out, we can break down a little bit. The good way, if you do in plant-based fats, because fats are essential, so you don't want to cut fats to the certain points that your body doesn't get enough for health reasons. So your organs needs fats, your brain needs fat. So you have to have a certain amount of fat in your diet, which is around 1 gram after every kilo of body weight. So back to the 80 kilo person, if you are 80 kilo, then you have to eat 80 grams of fat per day, which is, you can easily get it from like a handful of nuts or avocado or something. But if you go over, some people like to eat higher fat, but I wouldn't suggest that much. The problem with if you eat high fat diet, especially if it's omnivore, so if you get it from dairy or meat, then it's come with cholesterol. And then the only difference between the fat sources, in a plant-based diet, then there is no cholesterol in plant-based diet. So it's really healthy for arteries in your heart. So that's why usually plant-based people have a lower risk of having heart disease or diabetes, because their arteries are not blocked from the cholesterol. Because if you eat high cholesterol diet, these cholesterol and fatty tissues are stuck around the arteries, making the arteries smaller, so the blood not gonna flow that easily through to the arteries. So you want to cut cholesterol as much as possible, which is really hard if you're eating eggs, because it's very high in cholesterol. So by just eating 2 eggs a day, you're increasing your risk for heart disease. So I would cut those at the first place if you want to switch to plant-based. So cut the dairy, and then slowly cut the fatty meat as well. That's about cholesterol. So again, 1 gram after every kilograms of body weight. There are monosaturated fat, polysaturated, trans fatty acids. So mono and poly, they're important. They're gonna increase your HDL, or your high cholesterol, which is like the good cholesterol. So you need those in your diet. What you want to avoid, the only fatty acids what you need to avoid is gonna be the trans fats, which is in like baked food, like donuts and pizzas and crackers and stuff. All the all the addictive stuff which we really like. Those are the ones you want to avoid. So as long as it's coming from nuts and seeds, you're fine. But if it's coming from donut or pizza or a cracker, then you're not fine, because that's those trans fats are being made in labs. So it's not coming from whole foods. You're not gonna find it in nature. It's man created. Probably that's why it's delicious, because they're tricking your brain. That's the only one what you want to avoid. And back to tracking calories, 1 gram of fat, it contains 9 calories, which is 1 gram of protein or carb is only 4 calories. So that's why it's easier to lose weight if you cut fat, because it's twice of more calories per grams of fat compared to protein or carbs. And then everyone, from here we're gonna, if you don't have any question, we're gonna go to the carbs, which most people think that cutting carbs is gonna make their slim, which it's not true. Cutting calories is gonna make you lose weight, or overeating is gonna gain weight, but it's not carbs, and not every carbs are equal. Obviously, there are simple sugar carbs like table sugar and processed food, which is high with empty calories. But carbs is there are glucose, like a banana, like fruits are high in glucose, which is a carb as well. But they coming with fiber. So when you have the fiber together with sugar, the fiber slows down the metabolism of sugar. So the simple sugar turn into complex carbs. So it's gonna break down in your body in a much longer process than simple sugar would. So that's a great way to get carbs in, but also slow down the metabolism of the sugar, and you're not gonna feel the sugar rush either. So carbs are essentials, this gives us energy, because this is your main source of your body to to create energy. So it's really important, especially if you're training, if you're an athlete, to get enough carb or even more that you need, so you always have those stores where your body can touch and then can improve your performance. So this being said, vegetables are another source of carbs as well, but they're very, very complex. They obviously lower in calories as well, because so for the same amount of food, you're gonna have just very, very small amount of carbs, and those carbs are coming with fiber as well, obviously, so it's gonna be even slower. So vegetables are the best way to get your carbs in. Obviously, if you want to gain weight, then I would go for the simple source like rice or potato, because that's easier to get in. So if you're struggling with gaining weight or struggling with eating enough, then I would always suggest to go for rice or beans or potato. I wouldn't eat too much pasta, but grains are great as well. There's the more whole food, the better. So avoid processed food. So not bread, but you can get from oats and rice and other grains as well. So if you struggle gaining weight, then add those. You can add some sauces on the top. It's going to increase the calories, so it's easier to gain weight. If you are an opposite, if you want to lose weight, then you're going to go from rice to more vegetables, which is lower the calorie but has the same amount. So you can eat as much as you want, but you're not going to gain weight. You're probably going to lose weight. So that's about different carb sources. Obviously, you have high glycemic index of carbs or low glycemic indexes, which is, I was talking about the fast digesting and slow digesting. So compared to just two similar sources like white rice and brown rice, the white rice has the high glycemic index, which means it's gonna go into the bloodstream much faster than the brown rice or like a whole grain rice, which is gonna be as high in fiber and is gonna be slower down in your system. So I'm just saying numbers here. It's not quote unquote like this, but if you eat white rice, it's gonna take, let's say, an hour to digest those cup of rice. But if you eat a cup of rice from brown rice, it's gonna take 3 or 4 hours. So it's gonna be a longer period of time where you're gonna. So what you can do is after or before training, you can do something like a white rice, which is gonna give you quick energy. So it's gonna help you train harder or recover faster after a hard session. And then brown rice after or before 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of training, where you don't need that quick energy, you just need a long-lasting energy. That's why I would eat the brown rice, the whole bread, and most vegetables. If you want to be quick energy before or after training, then it's going to be a white rice, white bread. Most fruits are breaking down in 30-40 minutes. That's why banana and a white bread peanut butter sandwich are the great combination of pre or post workout food. Yeah, if you don't have questions so far, then yeah, let's talk about timing. Again, yeah, there's not much about it. If for people to ask me how close to workouts you should eat, if you need, again, if you have like a quick food like a banana or a shake, then you can eat it half an hour before training and after training. But before, I wouldn't eat a big meal 3 hours or 2 hours prior to workout, because your body needs time to digest bigger meals. So you need at least 2-3 hours. Otherwise, because when you eat, your body switching into parasympathetic state, so it means you start digesting food. It needs the blood for your stomach to digest the food. But for training is the opposite. You want to stop digesting food, is you're going to push the blood into the muscles, into your legs, into your arms, and it's going to stop digesting. So if you are digesting while you start training, you're going to feel like you want to throw up, because your body cut the blood from your stomach and it goes to your muscles. That's why you feel like you want to throw up. So you want to cut that up, and you want to eat 2-3 hours with big meals. With a small meal, you can have half an hour before workout. In terms of after workout, there is like this training window where if you have to eat as quick as you can from after workout, which is not really true. Science says it's much more important that you have your calories a day. So if you train in the morning, most people, well, not most people, but a lot of people are training fasted, so they don't eat for maybe after 5-6 hours of training, and then they have an eating window where they're gonna eat all the calories. They're still gonna make a lot of muscle. So it doesn't really matter that window is just. I think it's most likely fitness companies want to sell you protein. So it tells you like, okay, you need to get your protein in right after workout. Otherwise, you're not going to gain muscle, which is not true. You have like a 6-hour window. So if you eat in a 6-hour window after workout, you'll be fine. There are obviously better variation. If you can eat as close as you can to the workout, it's a little bit better, but on the long run, it doesn't matter so much. It's like 1% of the equation, so it doesn't really matter. Let me just see this question. Actually, vitamin and mineral goes into the right places. I read this. You hear the veins are dilated, so extreme vitamin minerals goes. Yeah, it is true. That's why we create. So someone asking if the veins are dilated, so oxygen as vitamins and minerals goes into the right places, is the time is safe to train. I don't really get that part, but yeah, that's what pre-workout does. So if you drink a pre-workout drink, it's what it does is opens up your arteries, so it's helping the blood flow, so your body pump oxygen and nutrients into the muscle easier. Plus they have caffeine as well, so you feel a little bit hyped, but it's going to help you with the pump. It's help you to train harder. But you should get those elements, those nutrients from your diet, because for example, the best pump pre-workout is coming from beetroot. So if you have beetroot in your diet, then it's going to dilate your arteries anyway, so it's going to help you with blood flow. But most pre-workout stuff is coming from plants, so if you eat enough, then you're going to be fine. The only thing you have to pay attention if you want to use supplements is creatine, because there are very, very small amount. There's like no creatine in plants. Basically, you have carnosine, and you can the body can then create its own. But if you want to have extra, then you can have supplement with creatine, and beta-alanine you can have as well, because these are low in the plant-based diet. But if you need more information, there are some supplement guide in my website. You can get that, and it's deeper on that. I'm gonna go back to so what minerals you need to focus on when you are a plant-based diet, or not just on a plant-based diet, but in general, if you are training as an athlete, how much and what you need to focus on. One of the most important is going to be iron, which I want to suggest you to eat a non-heme iron based foods, which is going to come from plant-based, because iron is high in meat, but they have heme iron, which is not the healthiest, as studies shows nowadays. So you want to eat some non-heme iron based food, which is even have a better absorption in the absorption rate in the body, around 5 times than the heme iron one. And then these foods are iron. What foods are high in iron is beans, grains, and seeds, which if you combine with some vitamin C sources, like green leafy vegetables. So let's say you have beans with broccoli. That's a win-win because the vitamin C is gonna increase the absorption of the iron sources. So how much you need? If recommended daily doses is around 10 to 15 grams for male athletes and around 30 milligrams, per day for female athletes. That's why the difference is because um, female athletes can lose more iron through menstrual cycle as well. So you have to increase iron. So just to be on the same side and don't have anemia or don't get fatigued too that easy. Don't, if you can, try to separate your coffee and your tea from your iron-based meal or your main meals, because caffeine can decrease the absorption of the iron. So I would separate those two and drink just coffee before your workout and in the morning, not with food, if that makes sense. So good iron sources is legumes, lentils, beans, soybeans, tofu, tempeh, grains like quinoa, some cereals which is fortified with iron, brown rice, oatmeals, got the nuts and seeds, pumpkin seeds, pine, sunflower seeds. They're all great sources um, of iron. Another thing, we're gonna switch to magnesium. If you are low on energy or feel like insomnia, you have anxiety, it could be correlated to low magnesium level. It's very important mineral to not just improve your health, but also play a big role if you are an athlete. Because if you have low magnesium, you can have a lower ATP production, and you can also feel just get fatigue easier than if you have a normal magnesium level. So how to if you're an athlete, it's also magnesium. You're going to lose a lot of magnesium throughout your sweat and your urine. So you need to make sure you have enough magnesium in your diet, which is around, if you are an endurance athlete, is around 5 to 800 milligrams per day. And it's easy to get it on a plant-based diet. Kelp has a very high magnesium source, and most vegetables or seaweed has very high magnesium level, which is just like just a bunch of kelp has like 700 and 800 milligrams, and that's already enough for a day. So have a big bunch of seaweed or kelp. Oats are a great source of magnesium as well. So that's why I have, on every morning, I have my oat meal in the morning, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. So I know in the morning I have my magnesium source with my oatmeal. Almonds and cashew are also high in magnesium, together with vitamin D. So and it helps the absorption to the calcium as well. So we're gonna switch into calcium, which is probably the most important nutrient for athletes, mainly for bone health, because calcium plays a huge role. It's obviously building up your bones, and if you are an athlete, you want to have strong bones. You don't want to have broken bones just from lifting weights or running or something. So you want to make sure that your bones are always strong as much as possible. It's supported by diet. And then where you can find your calcium source is tricky, even if you are on not a plant-based diet, because farm animals being injected with calcium supplements as well. So you think you have your calcium source from meat, but it's basically they inject the animals and then you eat it. So you can do the same. You can supplement that, or you can eat a lot of greens, which are really high in calcium, or you can have fortified milk, or like an oat milk with fortified with calcium, or you can have a lot of calcium in tofu or yogurt alternatives. So that's a great way to get your calcium source in. The daily recommended for athletes is around 1,000 or 1,500 milligrams per day, depending on your gender and your age. But you can get it from greens. So broccoli all day. Okay, zinc. The zinc supplement is often implemented during pregnancy or if we are sick, because it can help to fight viruses. But zinc, it's quite easy to get through diet. Chickpeas and beans and tofu and walnuts, they're really high in zinc. So as long as you have your daily amount of beans and nuts, you're gonna be fine with zinc. It's not that hard to get it. You only need like around 30 to 60 milligrams per zinc daily. So if you eat beans and nuts, you'll be fine. That's not a big deal to get it. Iodine, that's gonna be very, very tricky for most plant-based people, because iodine is only found in sea vegetables, seaweeds like nori and wakame and kombu, which is, I don't think we eat enough of that. Unless you eat sushi every day, you're not gonna hit your iodine levels. So what you need to do is definitely supplement iodine with iodine tablets. It's easy to get. You can buy one if you go for a vegan version. Just make sure you have the iodine level, especially for women. If they have low iodine level, it could be a sign of underworking or overworking. Help me. Thyroid level. So overworking thyroid. So you want to make sure that you have your iodine level on a good level. Otherwise, you can have thyroid problems. And if you have thyroid problems, it's never gonna fix unless you go under maybe on medication. So you want to make sure you have your iodine level always checked in. Just take one tablet a day and you will find you only need 140 micrograms. You can get it from a tablet easily. So I would supplement it, vegan or not. Most people don't have enough iodine in their diet. And I think we don't have much here. We only have potassium and selenium. I want to talk about selenium. It's fine in Brazil nuts. Only 2 Brazil nuts. If you have 2 Brazil nuts per day, you hit your selenium source. You don't need more, because it could be you could develop a condition called selenosis, which is it's a serious condition if you don't pay attention. If you eat too much Brazil nuts, you can develop this bad conditions which you don't want to touch. So don't eat more than 2 Brazil nuts a day. You'll be fine. Just make sure you have those 2, and then you cut it. So if you have like a mixed bag of nuts, make sure you don't eat. The Brazil nuts are the big ones. You only have 2 per day, and you're done for that. Potassium, very important for muscle contraction. So if you're training, or if you feel like you have muscle cramps a lot, then, or when you're sleeping, if you have that feeling when you can hear your heart pumping, or feel like you can hear your blood is pumping in your ear, that's probably your potassium level is too low. So you want to eat more potassium. It's easy to hit. Most sweet potato, white potato, carrots are very high in potassium. So make sure you have that. I always have my carrots in, because it's high in vitamin A as well. And that's how you get your vitamin A and potassium source in the same time, by eating a lot of carrots. If you can eat more potato. I have to be cautious with potato, because I can eat a lot and I'm gonna get a lot of weight. But otherwise, there's no backdrop eating potatoes. So eat as much as you can. You need around 3 to 5,000 milligrams per day, and you can aim for that. Banana is a great source of potassium as well. Again, that's why it's a good source, good pre-workout meal before training. If you have a banana, it's going to help you push a little bit more weight in the weight room. Hey everyone. Hey, don't forget, if you have questions, you can still shoot me. If I'm going too fast or something not clear, you can just stop me. Let's go to vitamins, starting with B12. It's probably the most important if you are on a plant-based diet, but even if you are omnivore, even if you eat meat, most people are suffering from deficiency of B12. It's not just a vegan problem; it's the whole population, because B12 is a bacterium. So because we are so clean nowadays, we don't eat that much dirt anymore. Because when we used to have our food from the ground, you have a little dirt and your body makes B12 from those microorganisms, but we don't have those anymore. Even if you eat animals, they've been injected again with B12, so you don't get it from meat, you get it from a supplement, what the animal eats, and then you eat the animal. So I think the easiest way is just get a supplement and cut the middleman, and you don't want to eat an injected meat during your diet. I don't think it's healthy at all. So I would just eat the B12. It's a very, very cheap supplement. You can have a year's supply for like 10 pounds. So you only have one tablet per day and you'll be fine. So B12, you can have it from tablet, or you can have from fortified milk or yogurt, or some tofus have fortified with B12. To make sure you have your 3 microgram per day. You only have 3 microgram. It's easy to get it supplemented, and you don't have to worry about it. Because if you are B12 deficient, you can have mental and nerve issues, which is you cannot turn that back. So you need to make sure you don't develop that condition. The other thing, which is whole population suffer from this, is vitamin D deficiency, especially countries like here in the UK. We don't have enough sunshine. Not like today. Today is beautiful, but in most winter we don't get enough sunshine, or northern countries. So make sure you have vitamin D supplements from, or your vitamin D level from supplementing with a vitamin D tablet. It's easy to get. You don't need more than with 100 micrograms. So just get that from tablet, or make sure you go on the sun. If you are living in a sunny place, then at least 15 minutes arm length needs to be touched. So just your face is not enough. You need more skin exposure for the sun, so your body can transfer the sunlight into vitamin D, and then you have enough vitamin in your body. So at least an arm length. The face is not enough, or you have to be there for longer, but it's not the best for the skin. So yeah, that's from vitamin D. And vitamin A, again, it's from carrots. You can get vitamin A from carrots because it's a high source of beta carotene, what your body can transfer to vitamin A. How much daily dosage you need? Around 0.7 milligram, which is nothing. You can have it from a couple of carrots. So make sure you have it from your carrots, or red and green leafy vegetables are also high in beta carotene. So sweet potato, red peppers, yellow fruits, apricots, make sure you get them from your diet. It's easy to get. Vitamin K can help with blood clotting. So if you have a blood clotting problem, then increase your vitamin K. Your gut bacteria can make vitamin K1 into vitamin K2, which is a great thing. And then the great sources of vitamin K, it's again, green leafy vegetables, broccoli, spinach, cabbage are great sources of this. Adults needs approximately 1 microgram of day in vitamin K for each kilogram of their body weight. So if I'm 80 kilos, then I need 80 microgram of vitamin K. Again, green leafy vegetables are really high in like vitamin K, iron, and vitamin C, vitamin D. So green leafy vegetables should be a staple in your diet because they just high in most things. And just to summarize what we've been through, you can download my athlete daily checklist from my website, so you know what to eat and how to put your daily food together. So hit these all vitamins and minerals. So let's say like a day, you wake up, you have your oats with some chia or flax seeds, and you have some banana or kiwi or some kind of fruits with it. You already hit your vitamin B2, C, B6 from the fruits and the oats and the grains. And then in terms of mineral, you hit your magnesium, your iron, and your calcium source. So with one meal, if you structure it together, you get your oats, your chia or flax seeds, and then a banana. You have potassium, vitamin C, B, and magnesium, iron, and calcium in one meal. So you're good to go for a couple hours. And what I would do, I would have like a soy yogurt with a protein powder. So I'm hitting my around 50 grams of protein in one meal. Plus I have my vitamin B12 from the fortified yogurt. I've got my vitamin D, I've got my calcium. And if you add some banana or berries, you hit some vitamin C, and your potassium level again is gonna be higher. So it's great before workout. And then after workout, if you have like a nice dinner or lunch, you can have definitely some green leafy vegetables, because it's gonna hit your vitamin A, K, and B. And on a mineral side, you're gonna hit your potassium, your iron, your zinc with some tofu and peas or tempeh or lentils. You're gonna hit your iron and zinc with it. Not mention about protein. And I would have as a snack, you can have some Brazil nuts with some cashew or other nuts. So you're gonna hit your vitamin E and B6, and then you're gonna hit your selenium, magnesium, and zinc with those nuts. And if you can, have some sushi or nori or something like that with it, because you're gonna hit your iodine store. But if you're not, then you have to supplement it for sure. In terms of what I supplemented, I always supplement every day iodine, vitamin D, and B12. Even if I try to get it from food usually, but just for the safe side, I'm gonna get those 3 supplements. But vegan or not, you should use these 3 supplements, because as general population, we cannot get enough of these stuff, especially if you live in a country where there is not enough sunshine. So if you go to my website and download this cheat sheet, you can put your meals together, and it's gonna make sure that you hit everything as an athlete. Because if you are an athlete, you're looking for performance, you have to eat a higher amount of these vitamins and minerals to perform better. So if you have your leg cramps or something, you might have to increase your salt or your potassium intake. If you feel lethargic or feel low and exhausted, you might have to increase your magnesium level. Your calcium level has to be higher, because you're pounding your body all the time, so your bones has to be stronger, so you need more building blocks to get your bones stronger. So you probably have to eat more than an average person if you are training, if you're looking for performance. And again, you can use supplements to hit your requirements, like a protein powder. I would suggest to get one, just especially if you want to stay lean, because it's from 100 grams, from 100 calories, you get a 20-30 grams of protein, which is an easy to get it. You easy to hit your protein intake with just adding an extra scoop of protein. Even if you just do it on your training days, it's fine. But if you have a sweet tooth, let's say, you can use just what we do here is just I just buy like a plain yogurt without flavor, and then adding a flavor by adding a chocolate, a vanilla protein powder. So I'm increasing the protein intake, but the sugar level is staying safe. Because if you buy like a flavored yogurt, then it's gonna be probably a bunch of sugar in it, what you don't want to have. So I would do just having protein powder with me, and then adding that to my meals. So the sugar level is going to stay low, but the protein level is going up, so your muscle can build it easier. And I think that's about it. So again, if you are training, you have to eat a little more. But other than that, it's easy to switch to plant-based diet nowadays. Even if you're an athlete, if you know what you're doing, if you already in the fitness world, then you're probably paying more attention about your food, about your nutrition, about your recovery. So it's just slight changes what you need to make to switch into a plant-based diet. And I think you're going to see huge increase in your performance, just by the fact that if you switch to plants, you're going to eat way more minerals and vitamins. So if you don't track those aspects, then this is going to just increase by its own by eating more plants. And then those are the keys for the performance. So the bigger chunks is fat, protein, and carbs, but they're not going to build in unless you have the keys to the door to open, and then they can out into the muscles. And these are the minerals and vitamins what you have to hit. Doesn't matter what diet you are on. So you always have to eat your vegetables. They cannot really avoid it. And if you eat your vegetables already, why don't you just eat a little more from there, structure them a little bit better, and then you can leave the high cholesterol food like dairy and fatty meats. So you can skip the risk, but you can get all the gains what you can get from plants. So I think it's a win-win, because you can get away with just eating one egg, let's say, a day, or just eating a little bit of meat. But why would you play with the risk where you, if you don't have to, but you can have all the benefits from plants? So that's gonna be the end for this, I guess. If you have any questions, I'll stay here for a minute and I'll try to answer them. If no, then you can find all the resources what I was talking today on my website at traincomplete.com. And then have a nice journey to be plant-based. I think it's great. I've been vegan for more than 4 years now, and I have no issues. My blood test is always good. And probably you see my videos. I'm not struggling with performance. So, but you have to pay attention, just like you would do on an omnivore diet. Then if you want to increase performance, then you have to increase your nutrition as well in every aspect. You need to know what you're doing, just like you have in a diet. That's like you have a training plan, you have to have a nutrition plan as you have in a recovery plan. So they all goes hand in hand. And that's about it, guys. Hey, thank you for being here. You can rewatch this later. I think it's gonna stay here on Instagram for a day, but on my YouTube channel, I'm gonna keep it up and you can rewatch it, the whole thing. And I'll catch you in the next one. If you have any question, shoot me, and then see you in the next webinar. Signing out. Train complete, guys. Train complete.